If you've been a wrestling fan for more than a few years, you felt it. It's a shift, a tremor in the foundation of the very thing we watch. For decades, for an entire lifetime for many of us, professional wrestling had one name, one face, one single, booming voice that dictated its entire reality. That voice, of course, belonged to Vince McMahon. His WWE was a kingdom, a chaotic, brilliant, frustrating, and deeply personal monarchy. And then, it was gone. In 2023, the kingdom was sold, the monarch was exiled, and the company was merged with its one-time rival, the UFC, to form a new, colossal entity, TKO Group Holdings. The throne is now a boardroom. The king's whim is now a quarterly earnings report. This isn't just a change in leadership. It's not just a new logo on a piece of paper. It's a fundamental battle for the very soul of professional wrestling. We have traded a flawed, passionate, and deeply human dictatorship for a cold, logical, and ruthlessly efficient corporate machine. This is the story of two WWEs. The Kingdom of Vince versus the Empire of TKO. Part 1. The Kingdom of Vince, a flawed, furious spectacle. To understand the TKO era, you first have to understand the man it replaced. Vince McMahon wasn't just the CEO of WWE. He was WWE. His blood, his sweat, and his questionable creative decisions are in the company's DNA. He was a promoter, a creator, a villain on screen, and the final, absolute word on everything behind the curtain. His entire philosophy was built not on data, not on focus groups, but on one simple thing, his gut. Creatively, this made his era a terrifying, exhilarating gamble every single night. Vince was a showman. He loved spectacle. He loved big, sweaty men. He loved explosions. He loved soap opera. He was the mind that gave us the Attitude Era, the single most explosive and successful period in wrestling history. He saw the rebellious energy in a man like Stone Cold Steve Austin and the million-dollar charisma in The Rock, and he pushed all his chips in. His genius was in creating moments. The Rock's theme music hitting, the glass shattering, the Undertaker's gong. These were lightning in a bottle, and Vince's one true talent was catching it. But the exact same gut that gave us Austin versus McMahon also gave us, well, a lot of garbage. His creative style was pure chaos. He was famous for showing up to Monday Night Raw and tearing up the entire, carefully written script just hours before the show went live. Whatever he was feeling in that moment, that was what the world was going to see. This led to the start-stop push that fans, like you and me, have complained about for years. A wrestler would get popular, the crowd would get behind them, and Vince would suddenly lose interest. The storyline would be dropped. The wrestler, Barry, he'd get an idea in his head, a blue dot over a wrestler's face, a new, terrible gimmick, and he would push it no matter how much the audience rejected it. It was frustrating. It was baffling. It was, at times, creatively bankrupt, but it was his. And then there was his business philosophy. For decades, Vince's goal wasn't just to be a successful wrestling company, it was to be wrestling. He wanted global domination. He put all his rivals out of business. He created WrestleMania, the showcase of the immortals, a spectacle so big it became a national holiday for fans. But his single greatest business achievement, the one that defines his relationship with the fans, was the WWE Network. In 2014, Vince McMahon blew up his entire, successful pay-per-view model. He took his most valuable product, WrestleMania, SummerSlam, the Royal Rumble, and he put it all, plus his entire tape library, on a streaming service for a price that seemed impossible. $9.99 a month. Think about that. This was a fan-first move. It was revolutionary. It wasn't about squeezing every last dollar out of a single show. It was about market share. It was about getting everyone in the door. He wanted to build the biggest possible audience. The Vince era, in its totality, was a paradox. It was a creative dictatorship that often produced garbage, but it was also a business that, in its most important moment, put the fans' access and wallets first. It was a kingdom ruled by a flawed, passionate, and unpredictable king. But no kingdom lasts forever, and after a series of scandals and allegations, the king was forced to abdicate. He sold his kingdom, and the new owners were not promoters. They were investors. If you are enjoying the video, please give us a like. Thank you so much. Part 2. The Machine of TKO, the logical, profitable empire. Enter TKO Group Holdings. This new company is a fusion of WWE and the UFC, run by Endeavor, a Hollywood talent and media giant. The new man at the top isn't a wrestling promoter like Vince. He's Ari Emanuel, a legendary media executive. The entire philosophy of the company changed overnight. It is no longer a family business. It is a premium sports and entertainment asset. It is a content juggernaut, and its number one goal is not spectacle. It is profit maximization. This new empire has two brains, one for the creative and one for the business. The creative brain, the Triple H method. The first thing the new owners did was put Paul Triple H Levesque, Vince's son-in-law and a legendary wrestler in his own right, in complete charge of creative. And his style is the exact opposite of Vince's. Where Vince loved chaos, Triple H loves logic. Where Vince booked by his gut, Triple H books like he's writing a long-form television series. He loves slow burn, patient storytelling. And at first, it was a revelation. Fans called it the honeymoon era. Morale backstage was high. Wrestlers were given more freedom. Words that Vince had bizarrely banned, like wrestling and belt, were allowed back on TV. Triple H's first year was a creative masterpiece. He took the existing bloodline story and turned it into the most compelling, layered narrative in wrestling history. He saw the value debuting Cody Rhodes and patiently built his story to finish at WrestleMania. The shows made sense. Characters had clear motivations. Matches had consequences. It was, by all accounts, a better product. But now, that honeymoon is over. As we sit here in late 2025, the criticism has set in. The product has entered a lull. That slow burn storytelling now feels just plain slow. The shows have become predictable because Triple H is a former wrestler who loves the sport of it. He wants to protect his top stars. This means that a lot of matches, especially on TV, end in a distraction finish or a non-finish. It's safe, it's logical, and some would say it's a little boring. There's a real question about whether this new, safe era can create new, explosive main event stars in the same way Vince's chaotic era did. We're seeing great wrestling, but are we seeing unforgettable magic? The business brain, the TKO philosophy, but the creative side is only half the story. The real change, the one that affects every single fan, is on the business side. If Triple H is the creative brain, the TKO executives are the business brain, and this brain is a cold, hard calculator. The TKO philosophy is not about market share. It's about maximizing the opportunity. It's about squeezing every single dollar out of its new asset, and we are seeing it everywhere. First, you see it on the screen. The clean presentation of Vince's WWE is gone. There are now sponsor logos on the ring mat. The Slim Jim logo is plastered on the ring posts. Matches are presented by certain brands. Every open space is now for sale. Second, you see it in the arena. Just a few weeks ago, in October 2025, a new report from WrestleNomics confirmed what every fan has felt. Average ticket prices for Raw and SmackDown have doubled since the TKO merger. TKO's own president, Mark Shapiro, said it out loud. He said that Vince McMahon was primarily pricing tickets for families and wasn't totally focused on maxing the opportunity.
Vince McMahon was primarily pricing tickets for families and wasn't totally focused on maxing the opportunity there. And now that we've seen what we can do with UFC, we're replicating that in terms of ticket yield and holding back and advanced sales when it comes to on location on the WWE side. And it's really working out well.
The message is clear. The live WWE experience is no longer a family-friendly, affordable outing. It is a premium product for those who can afford it. Third, and most painfully, you see it at home. That beautiful, fan-friendly, $9.99 WWE network, it's dead. TKO has systematically dismantled it. In the US, it was sold to Peacock under Vince McMahon, but under TKO, internationally, it was broken up. Raw moved to Netflix in 2025, and the final nail in the coffin, the premium live events, moved to ESPN. The cost to be a fan is about to explode. What was once $120 a year for everything now requires multiple subscriptions plus $30 per month fee just to watch the PLEs. Part 3. The verdict, the fan versus the customer. So, where does this leave us? What have we gained, and what have we lost? We've lost the chaos of the Vince era. We've lost the last-minute, nonsensical script changes. We've lost the embarrassing, out-of-touch moments. And, importantly, we've lost the toxic, terrible backstage culture that Vince reportedly fostered. We have gained a better professional product. The shows are logical. The wrestling is consistent. The company is more professional from top to bottom. The stories make sense, but we've also lost the magic. Vince's unpredictability, for all its flaws, made the show feel alive. It felt like anything could happen. Triple H's logical booking makes the show feel like, well, a TV show. We can see the plot points coming from a mile away, but the biggest change isn't in the ring. It's in our relationship with the product. Vince McMahon, for all his monstrous faults, was a wrestling promoter. He saw us as his audience. He wanted our applause. He wanted us to be shocked, awed, and amazed. He wanted to fill every seat in the building. The TKO leadership are media executives. They see us as customers. They want our average revenue per user. They want to maximize the yield from our wallets. The Vince era was a creative dictatorship. The TKO era is a corporate spreadsheet. We are now in an era where the product is cleaner, but the business is meaner. The stories are more logical, but our loyalty is being monetized. The question we have to ask ourselves is no longer just, was the show good? The new question is, what is this good show going to cost me? We've traded the flawed kingdom of a passionate, crazy king for the cold, perfect, and profitable empire of a corporation. We're getting a better produced show, but we may have lost the very soul that made us fall in love with this crazy thing called wrestling in the first place. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe because there are more videos like this on the way.